right, welcome back, boys and girls. We're going to do another Loki reaction. Joining me again is my sister Jenny.
Hi, guys.
So the first two episodes of Loki had us very impressed.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of bold concepts that we were surprised, like pleasantly surprised to see they're taking on.
Straight for the existential philosophy.
Yeah, but we agreed in our live that we need to watch this next episode before we get too speculative, because we need more information to really guess what's going to happen here. So
safe to say we think something shady is going on with the TVA, and there are questions about whether Lady Loki is a terrorist or a freedom fighter.
Yeah.
We have opinions, but ultimately we don't know any more than you guys do yet. So we're hoping to find out more about those things this week.
We could speculate all day, but hopefully we'll get some answers. I doubt they're not gonna give us everything now, because this is gonna be, after this episode, we'll be halfway through the season.
Yeah, amazing.
Basically, we ended the last episode with the Lady Loki, or Sylvie. I guess the subtitles had her labeled as Sylvie, which people are saying is the Enchantress. So whether or not
it's possible they're
Lady Loki and Sylvie
two smaller characters from the comics into one badass character.
It's a combination character for sure.
That's what I think.
Hopefully. But yeah, she sent a bunch of those time reset devices through time doors to various points on the sacred timeline and essentially nuked it. And then back at the TVA, they were having chaos.
Yeah.
So that's basically where we left the episode, was with Loki chasing after her into the time door and the TVA having a huge problem on their hands.
Made me think structurally a little bit of that episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier where there was the attack going on.
Oh, yeah.
And that whole situation was underway while there were sort of three side quests that had to be taken care of at the same time.
Yeah.
So, we kind of have the same thing here, which is that there's this massive alleged emergency. We don't know if this is actually as disastrous as the TVA has led us to believe, but as far as everyone there is concerned, there's this unprecedented crisis going on. And then simultaneously we have Loki following Lady Loki through a portal to Lord knows where. So,
and in the thumbnail, it shows them looking kind of friendly with each other.
So we're going to find out how that dynamic turns out a little bit more.
All right.
Let's watch.
Let's jump in and do it.
Yeah.
How many people are guarding the timekeepers?
I'm sorry, what?
Seriously though, you can tell me anything, right?
Of course.
How many people are guarding the timekeepers?
Oh, well, there's...
In the last episode, she was like, I told her everything.
Yeah. This is like an illusion that she's created using repressed memories from her former life.
Yeah. I'm probably just tired.
How do I find the elevators?
They're gold.
He's in the TVA now.
Oh,
that's right. Her magic doesn't work here.
Magic doesn't work here. Merciless.
I can't feel good.
Not where he was expecting to end up when he followed her. The
Oh,
elevators, they're gold.
I was going to say, she's going right for Ravonna Renslayer's office.
So either you'll come willingly,
Yeah, good luck with that.
or you won't. Either way, that's how I get to meet the timekeepers.
Shut up! Hey!
Oh, yeah.
Come any closer and I'll kill him.
Go for it.
Interesting move.
Goodbye, variant. Just give it back to me. You don't even know how to recharge it.
Not the only tech-savvy Loki.
Don't ever call me that.
Tech-savvy?
No, a Loki.
Lamentis 1. It's another planet.
Okay.
New planet just dropped. Okay.
All right, man, in the
Fun.
future.
Love it.
You idiot! This is Lamentis 1!
I don't know what that means!
The moon that planet is about to crash into and destroy! Of all of the apocalypses saved on that template, this is the worst! No one makes it off here!
She had different apocalypses, like pre-programmed.
Yeah.
Chose a gnarly one.
They're on a moon that a planet is about to crash into.
Yeah. Moon that is obviously some sort of mining colony.
Yeah.
You're trying to enchant me. It won't work.
Why? Because you're a magician?
No, because my mind is too strong. Neither of us is getting off this rock if we can't get that temp pad turned back
Where
on.
do you have it hidden?
In my heart.
Well, then I'll cut it out.
Lovely.
The plan you interrupted was years in the making. As soon as I turn that temp pad back on, I'm going straight back to the TVA to finish what I started. There's power somewhere on this moon. We just need enough of it to travel through interdimensional time and space.
Gotta find 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, right.
21 gigawatts!
Time energy on this abandoned rock.
Yikes.
Slow down, variant.
Don't call me variant.
I'm sorry, but I'm not calling some faded photocopy of me Loki.
I'm Sylvie now.
Anymore.
She's
Oh, you
Sylvie.
changed your name?
That's like an actual piece of the planet right there.
Yeah.
Somebody in there.
Oh yeah.
Brute force is no substitute for diplomacy and guile.
That was unexpected.
All right, who's this?
Sorry about that.
Don't be. I enjoyed it.
We mean you no harm. We're simply weary travelers.
Sure you are.
Hello, dear.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, he
He's
just copied
impersonating her
he
husband.
copied the photograph that he just saw.
It's been a long time.
Oh, Loki, that's
Beautiful.
Low blow, man.
yeah, okay, good.
Saw right
She didn't
through
fall for that shit.
Which one was that? Diplomacy?
Don't.
Or... Where is everyone?
The Ark,
Ark?
the evacuation vessel.
Something like that would have enough juice to repower the temp pad.
We're doing this one my way. How do we look?
Like someone with a shit plan.
It's a great plan. Follow my lead.
Totally different color palette in this episode. Lots of purples and blues.
Yeah.
They're only giving tickets out to the wealthy!
They're only giving tickets out to the wealthy.
Mhm.
What about us? It's like a Titanic situation.
I'm not going to waste my time rooting around for the temp pad when someone taught you fairly decent magic.
My mother.
What was she like?
A queen of Asgard. Purely decent.
Are you sure she was your mother?
No, she's not actually. I was adopted. Is that a bit of a spoiler for you? Sorry about that.
No, I knew I was adopted.
What?
Did they not tell you?
No. I mean, they did eventually. So, tell me about your mother.
I barely remember her. Just blips of a dream at this point.
You know, when I was young, she'd do these little bits of magic for me. Turn a flower into a frog or cast fireworks over the water. She told me that one day I'd be able to do it too, because I could do anything. You want to see?
Not bad.
Where do you learn to do the
I taught
Whatever it is.
myself.
You taught yourself that magic?
Yeah, I did.
You just go into their minds and project some sort of illusion.
Really, it'd be easier if I just
Enchanted me and make it give you the temp pad so you can leap out of a moving train. No, thank you. Is there a lucky bow waiting for you at the end of this crusade?
Yeah, there is actually.
Oh.
How about you? You're a prince. Must have been would-be princesses, or perhaps another prince.
A bit of both,
Mm.
but nothing
Ooh.
ever.
Real. Love is mischief, then.
So Loki just admitted to being bisexual.
Pansexual, I imagine.
Yeah.
You do realize we're about to try and hijack the power source to a civilization's only hope.
I do.
It's not going to be easy. We should rest.
You relax your way, and I'll relax mine.
It's a,
They're like-
it's a literal sort of trolley problem. It's a train, not a trolley, but like she's going to apocalypses where everyone's gonna die anyway, right? Where it's inevitable.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Look at this. That's amazing.
He storms.
Singing songs of the old country.
Where's your uniform? We're meant to be laying low.
Nobody cares. It's the end of the world. That planet is about to crash into us.
Don't be an arse.
Yeah, and the
Saw
old
some
man
people
just went
looking at
to-
you weirdly.
What? When'd you get so paranoid?
Oh, I guess it must have started when I spent my entire life running from the omniscient fascists you work for.
Uh-huh.
Sir, can I see your tickets?
Tickets? Yes, of course. Here they are. Oops.
She's like, all right, I speak this language.
Yeah. Yeek.
What?
Ah!
They're gonna have to walk the rest of the way to the Ark now.
Yeah.
Way to go, Loki.
Give me the 10 pounds.
All right. Well, I did take quite the tumble.
You arsehole. You killed us!
Maybe we can fix it.
Oh, shit. Okay. Don't screw with her, man.
She's clearly had a lot more experience with the TVA than he
Yeah,
has.
I'm
And
just
he's
about to-
going to need to learn from her about what she knows.
Yeah, I'm thinking the TVA may have to show up and save them.
That's
here.
what I was thinking
Yeah.
as well.
What about the Ark?
The Ark never leaves because it's destroyed.
Never had us on it.
So what, we hijack the Ark and make sure it gets off this moon?
I mean, sounds like a good idea to me.
Exercise of free will right there. Try to alter the course of like a fixed point apocalypse. Change the course of established history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. You want to know how enchantment works? I have to make physical contact and then grab hold of their mind. Most are easy and I can overtake them instantly. Others, the stronger ones, it gets tricky. In order to preserve the connection, I have to create a fantasy from their memories.
So it is from memories.
Mm-hmm.
And you call me a magician.
That young soldier from the TVA, her mind was messed up, everything clouded. I had to pull a memory from hundreds of years prior, before she even fought for them.
She's been brainwashed.
Before she joined the TVA.
Yeah, she was just a regular person on Earth.
A regular person. I was told that everyone who works at the TVA was created by the Timekeepers.
That's ridiculous. They're all variants, just like us.
Mm-hmm.
Called it!
Ta-da!
That is 100% a Get Out type situation. They have been brainwashed and false memories have been overlaid.
Good.
Cyberpunk.
Very, very Blade Runner.
Yeah, neon.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get on that Ark and make sure it takes off.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
oh. The gravity's ripping it apart. Yeesh.
Jeez. Nice trick.
Okay.
Really? These guards are stopping to mess with them right now?
I
That's the
know.
priority?
I know. Talk about people being programmed.
Yeah. That was the arc that just collapsed. Okay, so the TVA definitely has to come scoop them up now.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's how they're ending it? Okay.
Seriously?
I guess it's
Rude.
a little bit of a cliffhanger. All right,
Yeah.
Is there going to be more?
We got a lot of info in that short episode.
Yeah, kind of a short episode. And I don't want to call it a side mission because, you know, it's not like the story was advancing here, but it did have that feel of like oftentimes in shows there'll be an episode where it's like, oh, we have to stop and get fuel. And that
Right.
like you'll hear it was like they need to fix the little device or whatever,
Right.
and they need to.
This was sort of like a version of a bottle episode that
little side
also
mission.
had other people in it. Like in a traditional bottle episode, you just have like whatever the main characters in one location for as if they're in a bottle, right? For the whole
Yeah.
episode. And this wasn't that because we had extras,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had set design, but we did get a lot of the same sort of exposition along with like philosophizing that
Yeah.
you would see in a bottle episode. They had time to sit and have like real conversations with each other, both
Yeah.
about like the nature of love,
Mm-hmm.
but also about, we started to get some hints about what's really going on at the TVA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's still more that he needs to learn and that we need to learn about
specifically that the variants are used to be regular people.
So that is
and
that's a big theory that we have been theorizing. During the lives, we talked extensively about this last week.
Yeah.
But this is something we have sort of thought was going to be the case, that the agents of the TVA, the Minutemen, are all variants whose timelines presumably have been pruned and have been brainwashed in a Get Out Westworld type of fashion. And what we've seen from C-20 and potentially from B-15 recovering from the enchantment is that their repressed memories are coming back. They're still in there. So it's like that Lakeith Stanfield moment in Get Out when the camera flashes and he's like, get out, get out. And it's back to this thing from episode 1 for me where he said, do many people not know they're robots?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in effect, that's what the TVA agents are. They're flesh and blood, or some of them might not be. Some of them, might be robots. But whatever species they are, they're unaware of their own nature. They're unaware of their own history.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for this free will question that we keep coming back to, as well as like a big bioethical violation.
Yeah.
Red flag.
I also liked how, like, even though they're both Loki, they still had things to learn from each other. Really? So like obviously like she knew about the TVA situation and he was like, wait, and so he was just learning about this and she had obviously known about it for a while.
Yeah.
So she and also like they have different magic from each other because when they started getting curious about like, wait, what was your mother like? And she was like, oh, I barely remember. And it was one of those, like, even though they're both Loki and they're variants, like there's their entire lives vary in their experience.
It's a real nature nurture thing going on with the two of
but
them.
it's not like, oh, you have this magic and I have this magic. It's like, oh, they can learn from each other.
He was legitimately
curious about...
impressed that she taught herself this amazing enchantment trick. And although his little, close-up magic with the fireworks was less impressive than digging into people's brains, she seemed sort of touched by that. It's a thing he learned from his mother.
Specifically because, he learned it from his mother and she didn't have that experience.
Yes, exactly.
So
she didn't have that.
Even, like, a little jealous of that. Because he had
but that was a genuinely touching moment. I mean, that was very pretty to look at. But it was like a genuinely earnest and sort of adorable thing that he did.
At the end there, he was expressing interest in, like, show me how you do the enchantment. And she was teaching him. She wasn't holding it from him.
Well, I wonder if that's a tool that the two of them can later use to help wake the agents back up, to help bring back the repressed memories and start a revolution. Within the TVA, right?
We had likened that to the scene in WandaVision where Vision wakes up Norm.
Yes, it went in his head, and he was like, "Oh my God, we're all trapped in here. Let us out." Which I've heard that the WandaVision team refers to that as their Get Out scene. So I do want to give that movie credit where due, but I'm hoping I'm hoping that's where it goes. That the two of them can somehow help people wake up to the real world. There's a real sort of, there's so many reference points, but there's sort of a Matrix thing going on, right? With people like waking up to the real world here. But if enough of them do wake up, and if they could get some key players like B-15, who's extremely good at her job, quick with a pruner, and Mobius, who is smart and relatively high up within the agency, if they could get some key people on side, they could create really positive change. They could have a revolution. I like also that she specified that, like, the enchantment is, like, normally simple on most people because they're weak-minded or whatever, but that, like, the TVA agent was, like, specifically very hard. She had to create these alternate illusions for her in order to trick her. Meaning whatever has been done to her brain was done very well. Yes, like, exactly. It was layered under there. The TVA agents are not weak-minded. They're they're hard to crack. But also, like, the technology that's been used by the Timekeepers or by the TVA to brainwash these people is extremely advanced. It's like trying to crack an especially difficult computer code or something where you go, wow, the person who encrypted this really knew what they were doing. Yeah. So the person who encrypted these agents was a really good programmer, right? Interesting thing this week. Her whole angle with C-20 was tell me where the Timekeepers are, tell me where the Timekeepers are. And C-20 was like, I told them, I revealed everything. That indicates that the timekeepers are real, which we've had some questions about.
Or at least that Sylvie thinks they are.
At least that,
Yeah.
well, at Sylvie and C20 both think they are and think that there's, like, access to them. And again, is it a Wizard of Oz situation?
It seemed like when she was going to the TVA, she was going to that elevator. It seemed like I
Who's
got the
actually at the
impression-
top of that elevator, though? Is it like the Three Lizard Kings unraveling the epilogue, or is it a man behind the curtain? Is it an empty room? Is it like what mysterious horror is up there at the top of that elevator in the executive suite? You know.
So they actually had there was they specifically had a scene where they were talking about like the sexuality or whatever, and he was like, oh, a little bit of both. It was like, oh, there you go, Loki just revealed his.
It's funny because it doesn't seem so consequential to us. We're
yeah.
like whatever, but it is a big thing in the MCU that Loki just casually admitted he is probably pansexual is the appropriate term when we're talking about an Asgardian god here.
Yeah,
but...
it actually for a brief second there started to feel like awkward and weird for me because it was like, wow, this is almost like sexual tension with yourself. Like, because they were having they weren't hitting on each other, but it was like, tell me about your boyfriends, tell me about your girlfriends. It was very, well, this is weird because pansexual would include like even being, attracted to yourself. Which you would
not
think
necessarily.
No, but I
That's
mean,
not what
like
that means,
Loki
but
would be the
no.
person to do that. You'd think because of his
because
sort of
he loves
narcissism.
himself
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little weird. We don't need to go.
Well,
there.
it didn't end up going there. They were more
No.
just sort of prying information out of each other.
I got
but it
all
was
the incest I ever need out of Game of Thrones. I don't need it in the MCU.
Yeah, and then another thing I noticed was that the very blatant change of color palette in this episode to all the
Yes.
purples. Obviously, they were on a different planet. Like
Yeah.
they made it a very different visual vibe. There were a lot of purples and mauves and
Mauve.
maroon
Yeah,
and
orange.
blue. Yeah, moving away from the green and gold.
Yeah. That poor doomed city that we only saw very briefly gave me strong Blade Runner vibes.
Yes,
you know
very
how
much.
everything in Blade Runner is sort of
What
Chinatown,
do they call
but
the
like
robots?
future China, the
in-
replicants.
Replicants, which is not the same thing as variants, but like when you're considering, like I was saying, the pre-programmed nature,
Yeah.
you're like, why are these guys prioritizing
Well,
capturing these people
I
over like running for their
mentioned-
lives?
I mentioned something about
'Cause
that
they're
last week,
programmed.
which I think didn't make the cut into our video, but I had a similar thought last week, was that there was some similarities to the replicants, a similar bioethics issue.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing in that movie, I apologize to anyone who hasn't seen Blade Runner, but spoiler alert, at the end when Rutger Hauer like saves Harrison Ford,
Mhm.
he doesn't have to. And he's basically saying like, I'm not a bad guy, I just want more life. Like I don't want my fate decided for me. I want to live my own life.
Mhm.
And so although those are like robots and these are not, there is a similar energy to that, to like the decisions are being made for these variants. And Sylvie is the perfect example of that. Like she has killed a bunch of people so far on this quest, but like she's basically in the same position. Like, I just want to live. I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of synchronicities there.
They
Go watch
definitely-
Blade
we've
Runner.
definitely
It's a great
established
movie.
that no, she is not a terrorist. She's definitely more of a seems more of a good guy now
Yeah.
at this point. And we don't want to jump to conclusions and just like start trusting people, but
No, I had previously speculated freedom fighter, and I think it's less that, because it doesn't seem like she's, fighting for the greater good so much at this point, as much as she is just trying to survive. She's looking out for herself, but that is also legitimate if you are being chased by, what did she call them?
like Nazi time
Omniscient-
cops.
not time
fascists,
Nazis. She
yeah.
called them omniscient fascists.
Yeah.
Which was a great phrase.
Yeah, well, that was another answer that we were like, oh, the TVA is sus, and it's like, okay, well, they're
Yep. Somebody who's been running away from them for years, probably.
yeah,
Spent most of her life. I think one of the comments she made, and I hope I don't get this wrong, but I think she said part of the reason that she didn't have the experience with her mother is that she spent most of her life running away from the omniscient fascists, right?
Okay, yeah.
So she's been on the run from these folks a long time. Her timeline either was pruned or was supposed to be pruned or something some time ago. And she's been in this for a while. And even this plan, the whole blowing up the timeline plan, apparently took her years
Yeah.
to put together. So she knows a lot more that she's going to have to educate Loki about for him really to
Yeah.
get on her side and turn against the
But
TVA,
It's
right?
funny how we kind of like started identifying like a buddy cop nature between Mobius and Loki, because this episode we got the little sort of buddy cop
100%.
between Sylvie and Loki.
100%, yes.
So now, like moving forward into the next episode, it's Sylvie and Loki. Like they're a team now.
Yeah.
So does that put him at odds with Mobius?
We didn't see Mobius at all this week.
At all.
We saw Ravonna
briefly,
Renslayer, like very, very briefly, but we didn't see our other
where was
friends
Mobius?
from the TVA. We didn't see Casey or B-15 or anybody else this week either.
It was nice that, what was the name of this planet? It was the name of the episode.
Lamentis 1.
Lamentis, yeah. So it was nice that we got to go to another planet because we had been pointing out how everything was very Earth-centric and there was all of these very Earth-specific things. But
and it was
we
the
have this
future
whole,
as well.
we have a university.
This is like a new planet for the MCU as far as I know.
New planet, new point in the timeline.
And new point in the timeline as
Yeah.
well. So that was, and a little brief sojourn. Again, that poor planet is doomed, but it was a cool little glimpse into, I don't know, like another version of that sort of futuristic steampunk mining colony that we've seen in so many sci-fi films before.
I like sort of the nature of, obviously things got really crazy apocalyptic towards the end there when, but like for the most part, like most of the episode, like apocalypse is happening, like the world is ending, asteroids are literally falling, but they're just sort of like walking and chatting. It's this very strange juxtaposition of like, it's the end of the world, it's complete chaos, but it's also just very calm, and they weren't like panicked and freaking out at certain points there, even though there's literal meteorites like falling at their footsteps. I thought that was very interesting to have that juxtaposition, that dynamic.
And for her, she's been to a million of these.
Yeah.
She's seen this show so many times before. Loki's been through some battles as well. Even this version of Loki has been through like the Battle of New York, for instance, and
she immediately identified whether she was like, this is Lamentis 1, like so that implied that she maybe even been there
She's
before.
hopped over to this apocalypse before. She's been hiding out in apocalypses, and she had that tempad, which is, I think, at the first time we heard that term.
Is it?
But
yeah,
like
maybe.
temp for tempest, like
temporal,
and the pad. So she had that tempad programmed, like she had on speed dial various apocalypses, right? So she's got like her favorite apocalypses that she returns to, which is sort of a weirdly endearing idea.
Yeah.
Again and again, she's familiar with these places.
Yeah.
There was this moment where they were getting on the train. And, I said it's like a literal trolley problem, like an embodiment of almost of the trolley program. Do you save like one person, yourselves, or a whole bunch of people?
Yep.
And the whole idea with these apocalypses is that it sort of removes the ethical, moral aspect from that equation, because these are situations where it's a fixed point in time.
Yep.
Everybody's gonna die anyway. That's why, like, we went to Pompeii last week. They talked about Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So
we know that everybody's gonna die, but it makes it interesting to see things like, oh, they're only letting the wealthy people on board,
right.
where you're like...
So obviously there's class struggle here on Lamentis 1 in the year 2077, just as, like, it was like the Titanic. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about this to me is that they initially formulated this plan, like, let's get the Ark off this planet anyway. They want to charge the tempad up, but also that would result in saving at least some people from what was previously a total annihilation, right? And the whole thing is, are they exercising free will? Are they able to do that? Interestingly, they were not. Interestingly, they failed in that particular mission, and ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We're going to have to assume the TVA will come to scoop them up next week.
Mobius is going to probably come.
Somebody.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about that is that they attempted to exercise free will in a scenario where no one was watching, and they still failed.
Yeah.
There's this moment in The Matrix when he goes to see the Oracle, and he breaks the vase.
Yep.
She says, don't worry about the vase, and then 5 seconds later he breaks it.
Yeah.
And she says, what's really going to freak you out in a minute is, would you still have broken it if I hadn't said anything?
Yeah.
So it's this idea, like, if you already have been told the ending, can you change what comes between? And so they seem to have told us no.
And now we're officially halfway through the season.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, there's only going to be 3 more episodes. So I can only assume things are just going to get crazier and crazier. Guys, let us know what you thought about this in the comments below. If you want to see a fully unedited reaction, we'll put one up on patreon.com/JediJive. Go over there and check out for unedited reactions. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, please, and hit that notification bell. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.